It's kind of a depressing and unfulfilling life for them. And to make things even worse, the crate got filthier as the days went by, and still the ducks were not able to step outside. But things changed when the woman in charge finally realized that she was not doing what was best for the ducks and gave PETA a call. The PETA team immediately came to the rescue and some caring therapy. The ducks were finally brought to a farm in which they can now swim and live the life that they deserve. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it really works. Number 9. The hummingbird and the chewing gum. What do you do after you're done with your chewing gum? I hope you don't just spill it on the ground, because if you do, I'm gonna ask you to please not do it again. And here's a story that will show you what can happen when you perform this careless action. This hummingbird got stuck in a leftover chewing gum that someone carelessly spit it out. However, the hummingbird was fortunate enough to be near this family, who immediately took action as soon as they saw that the little bird was struggling. After a few attempts, they were able to pull out the hummingbird from the ground, but there was still a lot of sticky substance on the bird that kept it from flying. Finally, they removed it all and the hummingbird was able to fly out again. This scenario is quite dangerous for hummingbirds. Due to their small size and the high speed rate at which they move their wings, they can run out of energy pretty quickly. So if you see one of them struggling, you only have a short time to help them before they collapse. And of course, if you like chewing gum, please throw it away in a trash bin once you're done chewing. That way you'll be able to help little animals like this one stay safe. Number 8. The drowning horse. Not all animals are capable of swimming, but sometimes the most unlikely animals end up stuck in a very dangerous situation for no reason at all, like this horse in Kent, England. This horse inexplicably ended up in this river and almost drowned to its death. The horse was literally about to die when the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals showed up at the scene and pulled the horse out to safe ground. The struggle had made the horse grow very tired, and there was nothing that she could do to get out of it on her own efforts. The situation required the rescue team to use a crane. It was so intense that some people in the team thought that the horse would collapse upon getting out of the water. However, they also noticed that the horse had a lot of fat reserves, which gave her enough energy to survive and get back to her regular life without any impact in her daily activities. Number 7. The struggle of the giant manta ray. We gotta admit that one of the most impressive animals living underwater is by no doubt the majestic giant manta ray. Some divers had a very amazing and perhaps a bit scary encounter with one of these animals as they were coming back to the surface from a deep dive into the ocean. As the manta ray got closer, they realized that she was entangled in a thick rope from a fishing net that was cutting her flesh. The group of divers was moving and the manta ray followed them. They say it was as if the manta ray was intentionally going after them just so they could help her. Finally, one of them was able to remove the net and bring relief to the manta. Still, the animal lingered around them for another 30 minutes before she went back to her side of the ocean. The divers felt relieved and very accomplished when they saw the manta take off and carry on with her life. You know, if animals could speak to us, I'm sure the manta would have had many nice things to say about these divers. Number 6. The fox in the tin can. It seems like foxes somehow always make them to these kinds of lists, but the fox I have for you today is perhaps one of the cutest we've ever seen. It was a baby fox who got his head stuck inside a tin can while rummaging through someone's garbage. When the owner of the house heard noises, he immediately went out to see what was going on. Instead of getting angry at the fox, he graciously took his phone out and recorded the cute fox who was in trouble. And then he immediately took the tin can from the baby fox's head, and this one approached the kind human for a few pats before going back to his mother on the other side of the fenced yard. Apparently, there are a lot of animals that come to rummage through this guy's garbage. Once they find what they need, they bring the food back to the backyard area so they can peacefully eat there. I can see how all these animals feel safe in this environment with a kind human who really cares for them. Number 5. The lobsters and the crane game. This might seem odd to a lot of you, but apparently in a few places around the world, this is how you get your lunch, by pulling it out in an arcade crane game kind of way. However, this restaurant in Virginia raised some eyebrows as new management took over, and even though they wanted to get rid of this strange machine, the 10 lobsters inside had not properly been cared for in at least 3 weeks. Finally, an employee gave PETA a call and they persuaded the managers to give them the lobsters. The lobsters were in such a decaying state that even their claws had been binded with rubber bands. When the people at PETA got the lobsters, they removed the rubber bands and released them back into the ocean. Lobsters are known to have some of the most complex and impressive nervous systems. That's why confinement can easily cause stress on them, and surely keep them from food, only making things worse. Number 4. Blue the Caged Dog.
Oh my god, the nails. Pull them hard, Mariah. Pull them hard. Pull them up.
Winter months are some of the most critical times for animal rescues. Just like humans, animals also need a safe and warm space to survive the coldest months of the year. This is why PETA spends every weekend bringing dog houses and some sort of comfort to dogs that don't have anyone looking after them. It was during one of those winter weekends that a PETA volunteer found a dog named Blue, who was locked inside a cage with an already diseased dog named Dynasty, who apparently starved to death, while also having a broken pelvis. Blue had not had any proper meal in a long time, and its white paws were turning yellow due to standing on its own urine for a long period of time. Blue was then put in a new and loving home, while his previous owner had to serve jail time and was not allowed to own any other animals for the next 3 years, justifiably so. Number 3. The Deer in the Net. And here's yet another story that happened in the midst of terrible weather conditions. This one happened in a stormy night in Wisconsin, filled with the sound of thunder and the cry of a baby deer who got stuck in the net of a school's soccer field. 2 police officers named Mike Weinberger and John Swenson came to rescue the deer. They were hoping the rain and thunder would go away before they could help, but they quickly realized they had to act sooner. The dash cam in the police's car was able to document the whole thing. In the video, you can see how the officers comforted the animal as they untangled her from the net. Once the mission was done, they reported back to their superiors and said Bambi went home. Now it's time for the day's best pick. Some of the animal rescues I brought to you today were possible thanks to the help of PETA. It sounds like they are doing a really good job at keeping animals safe and cared for. The picture I chose for today might be a bit disturbing for some of you, but I think it's important that we look at it for a while and realize that some animals out there are being mistreated at the hands of humans. Check out one of PETA's most impressive actions that brought freedom to 2 dogs and lots of other animals that were being mistreated with number 2. Buddy and Cooper. Sometimes animal rescues require us to get our hands dirty in order to find out the truth behind some darker places where animals are suffering. This is exactly what PETA did a while back when they infiltrated the facilities of the Professional Laboratory and Research Services. They found out that the people were keeping dogs in cages for years, and on top of that, the dogs were forced to go through terrible experiments. The dogs would have to do all sorts of things just to be fed, and sometimes their facilities were infested with worms, but no one seemed to care. Some workers of the laboratory would even yell at the dogs and spray them with hoses at a very high pressure. At that point, the dogs would be too scared to move, but the workers would still go ahead and drag them against their will. Luckily, when PETA released their findings, the laboratory had to shut down immediately, and the animals were set free. These puppies named Buddy and Cooper are some of the more than 200 animals that were rescued thanks to the efforts made by PETA. Number 1. The Baby Elephant. The animal at the top of today's list is a baby elephant who got separated from his herd after falling inside a well in a remote region of Kenya. Unlike dogs, elephants are not animals that you can just lift on your own and bring along with you. For that reason, rescuers from a wildlife trust had to come over to the scene and airlift the poor animal with the help of a helicopter. What was impressive about this animal rescue is the fact that the elephant was accompanied by 2 baby ostriches who apparently had been watching over the baby elephant and brought comfort to him while they waited for help to come. It seems like we can learn a lot from these animals, don't you think? I hope you find these stories inspiring, and I really hope you're being kind to all animals around you. Have you ever found yourself in a situation in which you had to do a heroic action for an animal? Let us know in the comment section down below. With all that said and done, that's our video for today, and I will see you all next time. See y'all later, and please, stay safe, everybody.